You've heard about the growth mindset. You've probably nodded along to the idea that failure is a learning opportunity, but there's a version of the growth mindset that goes much deeper than that. That's the one version that actually changes how people live. Today, I want to give you the real version. Hi, my name is Suzette. I'm a personal transformation and mindset coach. The phrase growth mindset has become so widely used that it's almost lost its meaning, often reduced to motivational posters about embracing failure. What Carol Dweck, a psychologist and professor in psychology, actually found in research is far more nuanced and far more powerful than the slogan. Let me give you what it actually means and what it actually looks like in practice. Carol Dweck's original research drew a distinction between a fixed mindset, which is the beliefs that your abilities, intelligence, and character are essentially fixed traits, and a growth mindset, which is the belief that these qualities can be developed through effort, strategy, and input from others. But here is what the research actually shows, which gets lost in the popular version. It is not about whether you believe you can improve in general, it's about what you believe is happening when you struggle. People with a fixed mindset interpret struggle as evidence of insufficient ability. If this is hard, it means I'm not good at it, which means I won't get better at it, which means I should stop before I embarrass myself further. People with a growth mindset interpret struggles as information. If this is hard, it means I haven't figured it out yet. When do I need to learn? What do I need to learn? What approach haven't I tried? What feedback am I not fully using? Same struggle, complete different conclusions. And those conclusions lead to completely different behaviors over time, which compound into completely different lives. Let me show you the specific thinking patterns that distinguish genuinely growth-orientated people from those who have adopted the language without the substance. Number one, they are interested in their failures rather than ashamed of them. Not in a forced, performed, failure is great way, but genuinely curious. What exactly went wrong? What am I missing? What would I do differently? They treat failure as data points rather than verdicts. Number two, they update their beliefs based on evidence. When something they thought was true turns out not to be true, they change their minds without significant drama. They are not attached to being right. They are attached to being accurate. This makes them dramatically more effective over time than people who can't tolerate the discomfort of a revised position. Number three, they seek out people who are better than them at the things that they want to improve. Fixed mindset people often feel threatened by the presence of someone more capable. Growth mindset people feel energized by it. They ask more questions in the presence of expertise. They want to be in rooms where they are the least experienced person because that's where the growth is fastest. Number four, they separate their identity from their performance. A bad presentation does not make them bad. A failed business does not make them a failure. A difficult relationship does not mean that they are fundamentally unlovable. This separation between identity and outcome is one of the most practical, powerful mindset habits available because it allows them to take risks without their entire sense of self being on the line. Number five, the focus on process over outcome. They care about the results, but they know that results are produced by process, and process is what they control. So they put disproportionate attention on what they are doing, how they're doing it, and what they are learning. And they trust that the outcomes will follow. Here's the part that's most commonly skipped. How do you actually develop a growth mindset rather than just agreeing with the concept? Practice one is to change your self-talk around struggle. When you catch yourself saying, I'm not good at this, add yet. When you think I can't figure this out, change it to I haven't figured this out yet. What would help? The yet is not just optimism. It's a neurological reframe that keeps options open. Practice 2. Conduct a failure debrief. After any significant setback, sit with these questions. What specifically didn't work? What was within my control? What was outside of my control? What would I do differently? What did I learn that I can apply going forward? This process transforms failure from an ending into a lesson. Practice 3. Cultivate input seeking. Actively seek feedback, not validation. Ask people you respect, where do you think I have a blind spot? What am I missing in my approach to solving for X? This requires setting aside ego sufficiently to hear answers that might be uncomfortable, which in itself is a growth mindset practice. Practice 4. Normalize saying, I don't know. One of the most growth-orientated sentences you can use regularly is, I don't know. Let me find out. Fixed mindset people often avoid uncertainty because not knowing feels like inadequacy. Growth mindset people understand that not knowing is a beginning of learning, not evidence of limitation. Practice 5. Track your growth, not just your performance. At the end of each week, ask, what do I know or understand now that I didn't at the beginning of the week? What am I able to do now that I wasn't able to do 6 months ago? Tracking growth rather than only tracking achievement maintains intrinsic motivation and makes effort feel worthwhile even before results arrive. The growth mindset, properly understood, is not a personality type some people are lucky enough to have. It's a set of interpretive habits, ways of making meaning from experience that can be deliberately cultivated, and they compound over time in exactly the way that fixed mindset habits compound. The question is simply, which direction do you want the compounding to go? We have now reached the end of our 8-week content series, which is going from overthinking through to intentional life design. If you've been watching since week 1, thank you so much. You have done something significant by staying with this material. Now the work is how to apply it. One framework, one practice, one conversation at a time. My 30-day transformation workbook brings all of this together into a guided daily practice. The link is in the description. And if you want to continue this work with personal support, I'd love to speak with you in a 20-minute free breakthrough session. The link is also in the description below. If this video resonates with you, remember to like, subscribe, and comment. I have a growth mindset. That way you and I can hold each other accountable for making this our best and most successful year yet.